Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me on Get Me Started for when you know Xero about Xero. My name is Gabrielle Osborne. I'm a registered BAS agent and a Xero certified advisor. Today's video is designed to give you the confidence to get started in Xero right now. Firstly, let's touch on what does in the cloud mean. I don't want to spend too much time here. I think in the cloud or clouded is something that we're fairly familiar with. And the easiest way to think about it is that you can log on and access the program online. It's not loaded onto one particular device, such as a laptop in the office. You can log on to Xero from any device that has internet access. There are many advantages, such as one file. So with your permission, you, the business owner, the bookkeeper, the accountant can all access the one file. There's no more upgrades, so if the superannuation guarantee percentage increases or the tax tables change, this will all happen behind the scenes. And there's no more backups. However, there are some things to remember when you're working in the cloud. You might need to save, refresh, or use things such as right-click to open in a new tab. Today is really about just giving you the confidence and some tools to make a start. There is so much that Xero can do, and that's great, but it can be a little bit overwhelming when you first start. So we're going to look at some essential functions to get you going. How to raise a sales invoice and email it, because we all know how important it is to invoice early and get paid. We'll also look at the other side, paying bills, because as much as they don't bring us the joy of being paid, keeping on top of bills and having a clear view of what's on the horizon is extremely important to managing our cash flow. We'll jump into the driver's seat of the dashboard and check the quality of our work through bank reconciliation, and finally look at how to produce a profit and loss. So let's get started. This is the Xero dashboard. A little bit like if you've learnt to drive a car, when you first sit in the car and look at your dashboard, lots of buttons, lots of things you need to remember to do. But just like driving a car, with a bit of practice, things get very easy very quickly. So you might find yourself thinking, oh, where do I find unpaid bills, or how do I pull up that payroll report? And it all feels a bit clunky. But I can assure you, once you get going, Xero is a very easy program to drive. On that note, let's jump in and have a look. So across the top here we have dashboard, accounts, payroll, reports, advisor, which you may not have, contacts, and settings. On the left-hand side here of your dashboard, you have your various bank accounts. You can also have credit cards and PayPal. You've got a quick look at cash coming in and out. On the top right-hand side, you can create an account watch list. You might put accounts here that you want to keep, expense accounts that you want to keep an eye on, or you might put suspense and clearing accounts to ensure that they return to a nil balance. We also have a snapshot of invoices owed to you, that's your sales, bills you need to pay, and a great tool to just glance at the two. Okay, have I got a lot more bills on the horizon than money coming in? Maybe I need to chase up some old sales invoices. Maybe a few people are behind their terms, or maybe we've got slack and haven't raised the sales invoices. You can click straight through from here to create a sales invoice and to create a new bill. We have expense claims, and we have the ability to edit the dashboard. We won't be looking at expense claims today, and I probably wouldn't encourage you to go editing the dashboard at this point, but it allows you to hide certain accounts and rearrange them. Let's dive in and create our first sale. We go to New, and we're going to create this for Jacaranda Maple Systems. If they weren't already in the system, Xero would let us create that on the fly as well. Today's date, we can do things like Tom. There's lots of shortcuts to create different dates. You'll find them in Xero Help, or you can click down like that. Due date, could be set by customer in your settings, set company-wide, or again you can do them on the fly. Let's say that's a plus 30 days term. Noting here, you can create your invoice as tax inclusive, tax exclusive, or with no tax. The account that you're coding to, unlike some other programs, you can actually just type the words and that will bring it up for you. Down the bottom here is where I spoke about maybe needing to remember to save or approve things. With an online version, a clouded version such as Xero, if you were to walk away, got a phone call, had a meeting, and didn't at least save a draft, Xero, for security purposes, which is great, will lock you out after an hour. So you do need to remember just to save that if you're going to be away from your desk for a little time. I'm actually going to go ahead and approve that. From here, I can print or I can email it directly to the client. You can either, again, have this in the system or create on the fly. So that's a sales invoice. Let's have a look at a purchase. Very similar, obviously just doing the other side. You'll note on the top of the pages there is help, so you can click straight through and get videos or guides. You can also hide that, and everything's still accessible through Googling Xero Help online. We're going to create this for Smart Agency. There they are. This time we're going to make the date the 8th, so we just need to do 08 and it will know. The total for this bill is $4,500. If you have something, let's say this is 2250. You'll note here you can track by various tracking codes, regions, salespeople, job numbers, and they can also be reported on in the profit and loss. If you have a situation where you need to split that 4,500, that Xero has inbuilt maths equations, 4,500 minus 2250, and it does that for us. Notice this time I searched by the number, not the word, and we're going to approve that. So that's a bill, and we've done a sales invoice. You can find all of these under here if we want to go back to our sales and have a look at what's awaiting payment. They're sitting there. What's sitting overdue is also there. All of these items, like most of Xero, the headings are clickable. So I can click on to and that will bring it up by who we've raised the invoice to. If I click that arrow, it'll swing around the other side and show it from reverse alphabetical order. Let's have a look on our dashboard now. So this is telling us we have 26 items to reconcile. I'm going to jump in there. What we're presented with on the left-hand side is the bank account. So this is the feed that has come in from the bank that's giving us a digital version of the bank statement lines. So no more printing it out and crossing it off. We've literally got it here with your permission in Xero. On the right-hand side, we match the transactions that Xero knows about to the bank lines. First up, we can see that Smart Agency, the bill, because we paid 4,500 that we just raised, is here ready to be reconciled. So I can press OK and that's reconciled. What have I done by pressing OK? I've reconciled that bank statement line to the bill in Xero. The bill, before I press OK, will be an unpaid bills. Once I pressed OK, it will now be a paid bill. And all transactions can be found on this tab here, like a bank register in other programs or transaction journal, so we can go and look for it. does freak people out a little bit when it just ta-da, disappears. Here we have a situation where $100 is received and there are no details. We've got the ability to match that to existing invoices. Perhaps it's a part payment or a payment for multi-invoices. We can create it on the fly as a received money transaction. We can transfer it between bank accounts, or in this instance, somebody has asked for more details. That could be the bookkeeper asking the client, the business owner asking the accountant asking the bookkeeper. So it's a great tool for collaborative work. Here now we come across the $2,000 sales invoice we've raised. What Xero is saying here, although green is usually when it's quite a confident match, it has found another possible match. So let's click and see what that is. We look down here, we can see, okay, no, it had chosen the right one. It's not Jack Jick, it's Jacaranda Maple Systems. So just be a little bit wary that when it's green, it doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% right, particularly if it has those other lines there. There might be other transactions within Xero that it relates to. I also notice here that the money was paid to us on the 17th of October, although we didn't raise the invoice to the 25th. So I know when I press OK, Xero is just going to make sure that I've chosen the right one. I mean, that wouldn't be normal practice, but things like that happen from time to time. So yep, let's confirm that. We're happy for those to match off. The only other one I'm going to show you on the dashboard today is these blue matches. So there's details pre-filled here, pre-populated. This is because when an NAB bank fee was last in Xero, Xero remembers that we coded it this way. So a blue is like more of a recommendation or something based on previous actions, and we can still go ahead and click OK. So there you have it. That's how we reconcile and make sure that we're keeping the quality of our work high. Finally, let's just have a quick look at the profit and loss. Reports, all reports. You'll notice profit and loss is actually on the tab, and that's because the star here has been clicked. If we were to unclick it, it won't show on the tab anymore, but we'll keep that clicked on. So let's have a look. We can run a profit and loss by regions, by those tracking codes, by job numbers. We can compare periods, as is happening here. We've got October and then 3 previous months, or we can show the date range. I'm going to make this for September. There also are some more options here. And this is a good one to remember if you're running a profit loss to reconcile to BAS, where the GST is registered for a cash basis, that you might need to update that to cash basis, otherwise it will report on accruals. Okay, so there's our profit and loss. We can drill down into something. Here I'm going to use right-click, open link in new tab. I mentioned that earlier. And that allows us to see what that advertising transaction is for September. I'm going to keep clicking through on that one. We can also go, okay, no, that shouldn't have been put to advertising. That's actually an office expense. Go into the bill, edit it, change that to office expenses, and again remembering to update. We can't just leave that page, it'll go back to being advertising. Likewise, when we now go back to a profit and loss, at the moment the advertising is still sitting in there because it's the same page that was there before we changed it. So we just need to refresh the screen, which is basically getting Xero to go back to the server, get a fresh copy, make sure it's still the same. And now we can see that advertising has gone. It'll be down here in office expenses. So that was a very quick look at how to get started, how to raise a sales invoice, how to raise a bill, how to check the quality of work through your reconciliation process, and how to run off a profit and loss and see how you're travelling. I'd love to get in touch. Please get in touch on one of those Facebook, Twitter, or Gabrielle at Gabrielle Osborne. If you're interested in more training, I'd love to help you.